Welcome back, guys. New episode of the Big Fat Podcast, powered by CrossFit Green, fueled by sweat and reset, supported by Fat Nutrition, Fat Barbell, and Fat Gymnastics. This week, guys, last week we had Dave. We were talking about the new classes that we plan on implementing. This week we have Mr. Cian Cosgrave.
What's up, gang?
Is it Grove or Grave? I always get
Grave.
it wrong. Grave.
As my dad would always say, it's grave, but not in it yet.
I've worked for you for 3 years and I always get that wrong. Not wrong. Get confused. We have Kino on in with us this week to develop on from what we discussed with Dave last week. So Kino, you are in charge of all of the programming.
Yeah, all of it.
All of the programming. So
So you can blame everything on me that you've ever done.
Well, I always do. When people are like, that workout was awful, it was like, it wasn't me, it was Cian, man.
Unless, wait, just for everyone's information, if you ever did a Saturday workout, whoever's working made that, and if you had to do a workout where you used the last letter of your mother's maiden name, it was probably Richie.
Oh. Obviously, I think we discussed a few weeks ago, my ones are always if you're on if I'm on the Saturday, the WOD's always going to have handstand push-ups and burpees because I can't do them.
Yes.
So again, as we said, guys, Cian is in charge of all of the programming. I am his little helper, so I do get my 2 cents in every now and again. But obviously with the new introduction, so we still obviously have our CrossFit strength and conditioning classes. We've introduced HIIT classes. We've introduced sweat marathon. So we changed up the sweat into 3 programs.
3 programs, yeah.
Okay. So we have sweat marathon, sweat zone, and then sweat and pump.
Sweat pump.
And that was inspired by Pump and Core, was it?
That was inspired by the popularity of Pump and Core on Zoom.
Lovely.
Which people actually loved. And they're so hard.
They're awful, man.
They're so hard.
They're awful. I remember there was one of them in during lockdown. We had like 2 minutes to do 50 push-ups. Oh, yeah. And I was doing them off a box, and I got to 25, and I was like, I'm just going to make sure the class is okay.
Sure, I did it for the first lockdown back last year, every Friday night, and then, you get on, and I was like, I'll join in, I'll get a little bit of a pump and kind of have a bit of fun with everybody.
So it was you that started that trend of coaches being expected to join in?
Yeah. And then every now and again, like when there was a core kind of thing, I didn't mind doing the other few bits, like they'd burn and stuff like that, but then there was a core thing, I'd be like, oh no, I'm just going to go up to the camera and check if everyone's okay, because I'm quivering. Yeah, guys, keep going.
The same as what David would always say, he's skipping the V-ups, can't do them. But anyway, sorry, our programming, so the old program, guys, if you haven't been with us too long, we used to just have CrossFit program, and we just used to have kind of a generic sweat program, so we only had 2 programs we'd have to do, but now we've gone from 2 programs to 5.
Oh, 6 if you still include the run club. Just for everyone that, because people keep asking me, run clubs will still be posted every day.
On Wodify.
On Wodify, so
super.
Yeah, they'll always be up there, they won't not be taken down or stopped.
Brilliant. So, again, 6 programs, so I suppose
6.
So CrossFit is going to be 5 days a week. HIIT classes are going to be 5 days. I suppose we'll go through the CrossFit program. Obviously we don't have everything designed fully yet, but we do obviously have an overview and an outline. CrossFit, what's the POA? What's the kind of structure of it? What's the goal, I suppose?
So CrossFit program now for the next while. Obviously it's kind of hard because we're trying to get all programs to work together. So obviously behind the scenes there's the logistics of equipment and how they'll all work together, but the main CrossFit program will be the main focus of the gym and how we function. So it's gonna be 5 days a week.
So the CrossFit program gets priority above.
CrossFit program is priority above every single other program for equipment and space and all that. So the way it's gonna go, obviously we're coming back to the gym for the 3rd time after lockdown. The 3rd.
This was our 3rd lockdown.
This is the 3rd one. So we're coming back. So obviously, we're being at home for so long. We're being there with the dumbbells, the kettlebells. So there is going to be a little, obviously, focus on some strength. And strength work will always focus around some form of squatting, some form of hinging or pulling from the ground, and some form of pressing. So we're going to have that as the kind of main kind of basis. So we've mapped out our first little kind of program for the CrossFit class. It's going to be 12 weeks. So it's going to be a 3-week block. We're going to repeat that 4 times. And try to make everything a little bit linear. So whatever you do, you try to repeat, you try to add a little bit of weight on. So each kind of week we'll focus on some form of a squat. We're going to focus on some form of pulling or deadlifting and some form of pressing. So they'll have 3 kind of separate days for them. Yeah. We're going to have a gymnastics conditioning day. So we're going to focus on our gymnastics, whether that's pulling through pull-ups, toes to bar, or pressing through handstands or something like that. So we have that little bit of skill component that we always did. So we take a little bit of time to practice, but then to work on it. And then we're going to have an accessory kind of day where we would always focus on smaller muscle groups or something that we might have missed out on throughout the week. And every single day we'll have kind of some form of a strength focused, followed by a classic kind of CrossFit conditioning style workout.
Yeah.
And then it'll all be mapped out, so things will kind of layer on top of each other constantly, weeks over weeks, till the end of 12 weeks that we might creep in and a little kind of couple of tests, whether they're strength components or conditioning components.
Cool. So that's your CrossFit program.
That's the basic overview. If you looked at the whiteboard, it's a little bit more messy.
But when we're doing the CrossFit program as well, obviously you're fitting in the essentials, not the essentials, but the old school CrossFit stuff, like your Olympic weightlifting will still be in there, your gymnastic programming, all that stuff is obviously, you know, you mentioned gymnastics conditioning day.
Yep.
But you'd obviously be creeping in.
Yeah, so in everything will creep in everything. So they were just kind of main kind of basis. So like obviously when we kind of look at it from a programming point of view, if we classify a day as a squat day, that might have a squat in any variation, front or back for strength. We might have a Olympic weightlifting movement in it, whether that's doing cleans because we're still hitting that kind of pattern. So we will be creeping all those movements in. So your Olympic weightlifting, your gymnastics, your kind of heavier powerlifting, all kind of amalgamated into that kind of program.
Cool. And then on top of that then as well, sorry, not on top of that, after that then as well, you have our HIIT programming. So obviously the HIIT is the new thing that we've introduced. It's pretty much like as the CrossFit has a lot of strength stuff, the HIIT is more conditioning biased, is that right?
Yeah, so the HIIT class will be a lot more conditioning biased and they're going to be a lot longer workouts. So what you'll really notice a difference when we get back to the gym. Obviously in the car park now we're just doing HIIT styled workouts or kind of CrossFit style conditioning workouts. They're kind of quite similar. When we get back into the gym, you will notice the difference. So the HIIT ones are going to be a lot longer, at minimum of probably 25 minutes ish, you know, to fill up the whole time. If your main kind of goal is you want to get aerobically fitter, you want to burn off some extra calories or so forth, they're going to be ones that will definitely push you to your limits.
Yeah. But again, like the HIIT classes, again, we are obviously across the gym, so obviously CrossFit is constantly very functional movements. So with the HIIT classes, you're still going to be doing functional movements.
Oh yeah. So pretty much you'll kind of see it when you come in. Whatever is the main focus on the CrossFit class, there will be the same complementary type movements in the HIIT class, just over a longer kind of time frame, longer kind of bigger sets. So kind of the same movements pretty much in it, just a little bit of kind of difference of, I suppose, work and rest ratios compared to the CrossFit class. Yeah.
But then with that as well, so again, obviously people doing double bubbles, would you recommend doing a CrossFit into a HIIT class?
God, no. I would try to preference one for the day.
Yeah.
Just because, again, just say for example, if we're having a squat day in CrossFit class, you probably end up might do like a little bit of a lift, front squat or cleans or whatever we're kind of doing. You'll probably have some form of a squat pattern in the workout. It could be a wall ball. It could be mixed up between loads of different ones, lunges or so forth. The HIIT class will probably have some of those same movements in it. So that's going to be too much work to do that. So I wouldn't really recommend it. I would just pick one. Now, it is going to be hard, obviously, for the first while because people won't know what way to go about it. So that's what we were chatting about, remember, with the kind of weekly, kind of upcoming.
Sorry. I was wondering what we were talking. Yeah, go on.
So yeah, myself and Fergal were planning being like, you know, obviously we're going to write all this out and everyone's going to find their own avenue to kind of work down to be like, you know, what do I want to hit each week? You know, people are like, oh, I want to make sure I get deadlift day in, or I want to make sure I get my gymnastics day in, but people don't see it in advance. Obviously we can see it in advance. They just see it, you know, from 6 p.m. they see the day before.
Exactly, yeah.
So with everything, all the programs, whether it's CrossFit, HIIT, all the different types of sweat variations that we'll chat through now, is myself and Fergal will do like kind of like a monthly kind of planner. We might send out an email with everything mapped out so you can plan your month in advance, and then maybe a little bit more detail weekly. You know, on a Sunday night you might get a kind of little breakdown of the week, so you can be like, right, I know my squat day is this day, I'm going to check into a class then. Yeah. Right, I like the HIIT class, so I'm going to try preference it on this day. I might try hit up a sweat marathon, and then you can kind of plan out your week so you can kind of have a bit of purpose. If you're ever confused, then as well, you can always ask coaches to kind of find the best avenue to kind of plan your week out.
Yeah. So again, obviously we haven't decided fully, I don't think, between us how we're going to send it out to you, but obviously some way we're going to give you an overview so you can plan out your week and your training that's coming ahead. So that's basically the basis of our squat. Is that not our squat? Our CrossFit and our HIIT classes. So our CrossFit class is basically going to be your traditional CrossFit like we've always done. Your strength, hopefully with your conditioning piece. Then your HIIT classes are essentially going to be your longer conditioning bias stuff. That's pretty much just going to be a warm up with a longer kind of a style workout. Again, guys, really important, don't double up on those days. Don't do CrossFit into a HIIT, particularly because we said we're going to keep the movement patterns the same. So doing 2 hours of squatting is not good for your knees or your hips or any area kind of down there. Moving then on into our sweat room. So normally, guys, the sweat programming, it's just kind of, we used to just have one sweat program, different
Pretty much,
kind of
yeah.
workout every day. So this time we're offering you different kind of styles. Obviously, we'll start with sweat marathon. Obviously, we discussed this when we were deciding the name on this. We had loads of people. Some people were just saying it's preparing you to run a marathon. Not exactly. Again, the reason, I suppose me and you were both on the same side in this again as well, that when you hear the word marathon, we're looking for you to work for a long duration, I suppose, is what the goal is on this. Tell me more, Cian.
Sweat marathon. So sweat marathon is, as Fergal said, it's going to be a longer style of working compared to anything else. Marathon obviously just means big, so it's not just running. Obviously, we're going to have the ski ergs, the bikes and the rowers and the runners involved. It's kind of wrapping your head. Think about that 10k challenge that we always used to do in sweat. So it's all going to be distance based, and it'll probably be the longest versions of the sweat that you're going to do. Whether they're kind of target driven, like the 10k challenge, complete your X distance to challenge yourself, or it might literally be, you have 20 minutes and we want you to AMRAP these to see how far you can go. But they're all going to be distance based and longer kind of time. So they'll be very, very good if, again, you want to increase your aerobic conditioning, if you just want to get generally fitter, or you want to kind of burn off some extra calories or so forth.
So again, like we do with most classes now, unfortunately with COVID, we've had to keep most classes kind of under 15 minutes for 45. So I think our plan so far, when we've started out, that we're looking to make sure that people are moving constantly for the 40 minutes, with the 5 minutes to transition and then 2 minutes to allow people to be late.
Pretty much.
After that, then we have My Zone. Again, unfortunately, we don't have any information to give you on that yet, because we're still trying to sort out the logistics in the background. But the goal is to kind of get a so if any of you guys have a My Zone, you have your preloaded WODs on the app. We're trying to get those so we can kind of run them on the screen so everyone can see the bar on the screen kind of. We'll give you more when we have more, if we can actually even do it. It's a different kettle of fish, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. On to the last one then. So we have, on top of that, we had said CrossFit strength and conditioning is 5 days a week. Your HIIT classes, there'll be 5 days a week of HIIT classes that we have to program for. You have 4 days a week for your marathon, and then your sweat, My Zone and sweat pump will all have 3 days a week.
On average. It might change, but for the first while,
so as we said, the popularity for sweat pump came from doing all the pump classes, pump and core during
and get massive
pump and core during the lockdown. So Cian, tell me more.
So obviously pump and core through all the lockdowns have always been a little bit popular. I think everyone secretly likes to get that little bit of a pump on. You kind of, whether it's lads that want to get bigger or girls who kind of want to focus on an area and kind of tone it up, everyone kind of has that mindset of kind of doing those kind of things. So it's obviously smaller muscle groups are going to be working on that, and kind of thinking more kind of bodybuilding-esque. So the class is going to be pretty much, it'll be in the sweat room. You're going to have a cardio component in there. Let's say, just for example, you might have your runner and your ski erg front and back, and then you're going to bring in a dumbbell or a kettlebell or some form of a weight. And we're going to be pretty much doing what pump and core was, mixing in a little bit of cardio. So it's still going to be very, very sweaty, obviously being in the small room, getting the heart rate up with your cardio component, but then doing a lot more kind of bodybuilding style exercises. So I'm actually quite excited about that class, because I secretly always like to do a little bit of a pump. So I think it's going to be kind of cool.
When you first got into fitness, did you do loads of bodybuilding?
I did so much bodybuilding. I did arms and chest every day of the week.
Every single day?
Every day.
Skip leg day all the time?
Yeah. Can you not notice that now? I have no legs and a strong upper body. I could bench, back in the day, I could bench more than I could squat.
What's your max bench ever?
125.
125. And what's your max squat now?
157.5.
So what, you were like 16 or 17 when you were doing all this bodybuilding?
Yeah, I remember I used to do bench for 3 sets of 5 at 100, and I was struggling on 3 sets of 5 back squat and 90.
So hey, you're 16 or 17, you used to do 3 sets of 5 at 100 kilos.
Yeah, on bench.
And then try and back squat 90 for 3 sets of 5 and you'd struggle.
Yeah.
I'd say you had little chicken legs. Did you not play rugby as well when you were younger?
No, I'm really bad at sports.
But didn't you play rugby?
I did, I broke my arm, I stopped.
How old were you when you stopped?
I was young, I think I was like 14ish.
Oh, okay.
I didn't really get into it.
Were you a forward or a back?
I was a forward. I was a bit chunkier.
I forgot we used to call him Denny because he had sausage fingers. You played rugby. Did you play any other field sports?
I did, like when I was younger, but like I was never good at sports. I do like to play them. I was never good at them. I'm just good at being fit, but don't have the skill or the coordination to be good at sports. I like playing sports though.
Like, what other sports did you play?
I played basketball. I did actually really like basketball.
Why?
It's just fun. Like, it's kind of fast paced. I just liked it. It was just the one I found. That, and I did like rugby, but I was just never actually that good at it.
Where did you play?
In rugby?
Yeah.
Prop.
But
I feel like if I did it now, I'd be so much good better because I'm stronger and fitter.
Yeah.
I'd obviously have to work the coordination, but like
I would so much love to start playing sports again.
Yeah, so would I. Because I feel now, actually, from doing CrossFit for years, you're like really body aware.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even with like, you might have to like practice your drills, whatever, like that. But I feel like you have the strength and the fitness and the body awareness to do well in the sport now.
Same.
Yeah.
So I remember when I used to play younger, I just lacked so much confidence. I would avoid contact pretty much. I played rugby as well.
You get the ball avoiding contact.
Yeah. He's too fast. I can't tackle him. But yeah, so there you go, guys. Your head of programming sucks at sports.
Does spike ball count as a sport? Classic.
They have a spike ball championship.
They do have a spike ball championship. Yeah, we need to start playing that again.
It's pretty crazy though. Yeah. Like, they need to be diving around the place and everything.
Yeah.
How long did you play basketball?
I was a couple of years in school. I can't remember. Like, say about 3 years.
Did you play up until your leaving cert, or did you?
No, I stopped so I could study. I'm doing air quotes now if you're just listening to this.
Study for what?
The leaving cert.
Did you go to college?
Yeah.
What did you do in college?
Fitness.
Yeah, but did you go to a fitness college where you had to actually have points to get in?
No.
So where did you go?
I went to Sallynoggin.
So you studied for something you didn't need to study for?
Yes. Air quotes.
Well, I suppose actually loads more questions to ask you, Cian. So you did Sallynoggin. What did you do after Sallynoggin?
I have then always worked in the gym. I've been in the gym for years. I did 3 years in Sallynoggin.
But you did loads of different stuff in Sallynoggin. So you did your sports and exercise.
Sports and exercise, fitness instructor, personal training. I'm actually a sports therapist as well. I don't usually tell people that because people want massages, but I'm actually a sports therapist. And then
why are you airing it on a public podcast
then? Then I've worked in a gym. I actually, the second I finished, I was offered a job in the gym, and then I've constantly ever been in gyms. Okay,
and then where did you get all your powerlifting experience?
So when I've done a couple of courses in powerlifting, and then when I was working, I used to work in a different CrossFit gym to Green.
Shock horror.
Trail. Yeah, I did a powerlifting course before, and then the person I worked with was very into powerlifting, and then I don't know if people listen if they ever heard of Westside Barbell.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, so your man I was working for, he went over to America to Westside Barbell to train with Louis Simmons.
Yeah.
So in fairness, I actually learned a great deal from him.
Yeah.
Great deal.
He's crazy. Did you ever watch that documentary on Netflix?
I haven't.
Westside Barbell.
No.
That dude's crazy, man.
He's pretty
He
crazy.
broke his back 4 times and still makes up new exercises to repair it, and then comes back and breaks more records.
Yeah. He invented the reverse hyper.
Yeah. Where did you get all your Olympic lifting?
More courses. So Olympic lifting, I've done many courses in Olympic lifting. I just got into it obviously through CrossFit, and when you kind of find that you're naturally okay at it. I wasn't ever really good at it, but I was kind of naturally okay. So then I just started kind of doing it myself, kind of looking stuff up online. I actually kind of taught myself how to snatch and clean and jerk before someone taught me. So I went on, I ended up doing, obviously the CrossFit course, they kind of touch on it minimally. I went on, did CrossFit weightlifting. I've done Weightlifting Ireland's Olympic lifting course. I trained with Catalyst Athletics over in England. That one was very good. I trained with what's your man's name? There's another
your man's name. You're the one that trained.
I know, but I can't remember. There's another one I did.
The recovering heroin addict.
No, I've trained with a couple of weightlifters. The recovering heroin. I trained with John North for a week before.
I can never remember his name.
Me and him used to drive around in my car. Then I've done some seminars with we did the mass strength one here. Yeah. I trained with Abdi Abduftikov.
No.
Dmitry
Who is
Klokov.
He? Where is he from? I know Dmitry Klokov.
Yeah.
Everyone knows him, I think. He's a big crosser now.
He's a big cross lifting. Have you seen that?
Cross lifting, that's been around for years.
Has it?
That's been around for years.
Oh, okay. I've only seen him do put it up online.
It's just a big clock off competition that he has in Russia.
Oh, okay.
But it's just a thing where they have like a 2 rep max thruster.
Yeah.
And he just calls it cross-lifting.
Yeah.
But that's been around.
Oh, okay. I've trained loads of weightlifters, and that's obviously how I got into weightlifting.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Why
I'm just trying to think of your man's name. That I
why
can't
are your
remember.
legs so weak, man? If you do all this powerlifting, guys, if you have any questions on the programming and stuff and want to know more about it, do feel free. Like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, guys. Other than that, that's it for this week. Bye.